For the car, you don't abide by the law. You don't know what I saw. Can't be without it.
Believe you when I tell you, I haven't slept in a full-on day. It hasn't been a day, but I didn't sleep tonight. I'm so tired. Welcome back, boys and girls, to the channel. We have Dax, Canadian. Shout out to the Canadians out here. Dax, Book of Revelations. Y'all know, if y'all are familiar with the Bible, the last book is called the Book of Revelation. So that 100% has to do something with religion. Let's get into this. If I seem like I have no energy, that's because I have no energy. I'm gonna take a fat nap after this. What if the world coming to an end? Think about that. Coronavirus, World War III, rappers dying, Pop Smoke, Kobe Bryant, you know, basketball players, legends. World 2020 ain't starting off so well so far. What if the world really ending? I heard they're burning cash now. They're gonna start burning cash, and this is gonna push us into a type of society where you can only buy with chips. You can only buy, you know, stuff using a chip technology. We're gonna go paperless when it comes to currency.
What if it isn't a lie? What if we make it to heaven and don't get inside? What if we get to the gates and see God on the other side and he looks us in our faces and says our whole lives we've wasted time? What if we can't go back?
A lot of what ifs. And like, that's true. Like, a lot of people that be saying, oh, it's not real, there's no such thing as religion, or there's no such thing as God once you die. You know, once you die, that's it. You go back to the same state you were before you were born, which is nothingness, you know, and you won't even be scared of, you won't be scared when you're near nothingness because there'll be nothing, you know? But what if there really is a God, you know? And it's kind of hard to, like, risk these things. Like, I'm not saying there is, like, I'm not trying to tell you, I'm not trying to talk you into saying, you know, there is, but I'm just saying, like he says, what if there is something and we just, you know, decided not to take that route? I guess we'll live with our decisions, but you know, it's a big risk to take, but it's a hard risk to take because, you know, some people say there's not a lot of evidence.
And see God on the other side and he looks us in our faces and says our whole lives we've wasted time. What if we can't go back? What if we can't redo this life and get one second chance? What if our future happiness is memories of our past? While we burn forever haunted.
Jeez.
What if our future happiness is memories of our past? While we burn forever haunted by the devil's last. Why do we push them away? And why do the ones we work to keep never actually stay? Why do we focus on tomorrow and forget about today and smile at everybody's face and try and act like we're okay? Why do we
What do you say?
forget about to work to keep never actually stay? Why do we focus on tomorrow and forget about today and smile?
Why do we focus on tomorrow and forget about today? That's because, like, you know, humans are smart for the most part, or at least our ancestors were smart. They kind of, and I read it in, I don't know if y'all can see that, there's a book over there. Boom. That book, really good book, 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. He talks about delay of gratification, and he kind of gives an idea that we save for the rainy day, you know? Like, our ancestors noticed that if we can sacrifice the present moment, then somehow our future can be better in some way, you know? Which he kind of spoke to it in terms of God's favor. It's kind of hard to explain it when I'm tired, plus I haven't read that chapter in a minute too. Because we want a better tomorrow, basically. Because the present is tough. Present is always tough, but we always think that the future can be better. For real, why?
I'm older and looking for truth. I'm holding my faith in my hand, but the pain in this world's been shaking it loose. I used to have so much to gain. Now I I had
So much to lose.
They say I'm crazy for looking for answers. I say they're crazy for knocking our life. I'm never concerned.
A lot of people be criticizing you when you like start asking questions like, is God real? Or how can you prove it to me? Or, what's the evidence and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people be saying like, oh, you crazy, but really, you're not that crazy. You have to find it for yourself. You can't just, follow. It's not a routine,
Looking for answers. I say they're crazy for knocking our life.
Exactly.
I'm never concerned. I'm looking at God to see if life with him is something I've earned.
Mhm.
The devil's been watching, he's trying to recruit, he's been waiting at every return. I'm driving this life on the highway to hell. Bravo, burn! Fuck! We know the difference. We know what is wrong and we know what is right. But Satan is strong, God, and most of your people are losing the fight. So what if we can't escape his lies? What if we can't change? What if he still controls our minds? Where do we run? Where do we go? Who do we talk to? We look around and everyone we see is lost too. What if life is just some test that we all do? What if you were busy when we called you?
These are all deep questions, man. Like, these are all questions like you have to ask.
Were your parents?
And I feel like people who are scared to ask, I don't even know why people would be scared to ask. Maybe because they don't want to see maybe what they believe in is false potentially. But in order to believe something is the truth, you have to test it out. That's common sense to me, at least. If you have a theory, you test it out. If it holds, then it's true until something else comes along to prove it false. And if you can't just come out of nowhere and say, oh, God's real. How do you know? My mom taught me. Really, it's like, sure, your mom taught you, and maybe God is real, but that's not the point. I'm saying, even if your mom teaches you, you as an individual should ask all these questions, and try and figure out for yourself, and say, yes, I know he's real for myself, not because my mom taught me. My mom just introduced me to him, but I figured it out for myself.
Were your parents?
Oh, R.I.P.
I'm tired.
Come on, let's go. What if hell's on earth? What if being born is dying and dying's birth?
Oof. What if being born is dying and dying's birth? You on something? This is deep. This is deep, son. This is deep.
What if hell's on earth? What if being born is
It's dying.
and dying's
It's birth.
Would that mean life's not God's gift, but the devil's curse? And to live is to be evil because its words reversed? What if the devil entered a pastor and he led a church? What if we looked for the truth but didn't know where to search? What if the books they said to read have never been your words? What if we...
These are all. At least he has the courage to ask. At least my man's over here has the courage to ask. Like, what if everything is false? Not saying, well, not everything, but everything that we see isn't authentic. What if he may be authentic, he being God may be authentic, but what if the path that we're following is not the right path, although we are following it in an authentic way? We think, oh, this is the way to do it, and we truly want to please him and follow the right path with him. But what if, like he said, the devil enters a pastor and you can't tell? Or what if the Bible's been manipulated in a certain way, books been changed, words have been changed, sentences taken out, new sentences put in? These are all questions. Like, will he hold it against us for not follow? Like, these are all questions, but then again, you can't even answer them because you don't know.
What if the devil entered a pastor and he led a church? What if we looked for the truth but didn't know where to search? What if the books they said to read have never been your words? What if we chose to follow you but we still had that urge? Forgive us for our sins and let us in your world. God, we at the gates. We couldn't see, hear, and touch you, but we had faith. We know we messed up, we human and we make mistakes. So we just begging we get in and that you'll have grace. God, what if we didn't mean it? What if the place we grew up forgot to teach us? What if we never even got the chance to go and see?
it's more complicated than it seems. He's saying it's way more complicated. Literally, listen to him. What if, you know, I didn't have the opportunity to, you know, fully understand everything I was reading? What if the environment that I was put in, a war-torn country, you know, a country that that his religion isn't the predominant religion? Then what? You know, what if I was just starting to figure it out, and now I meet you at the pearly gates? Will you still let me in? Would let the devout pastor or the priest or the brother or the sister that's been attending for 15 years? But if I'm born in a war-torn country, for example, I don't know, Israel with Palestine and the Jews, I don't know. What if you're born there? Well, that's Jewish. Never mind, not that place. What if you're born in, I don't know, Pakistan, and maybe Christianity or anything like that's not the main religion, and you just start to figure out, you just start to realize this religion, Christianity, and all of a sudden you die as because you're a war baby. Well, you die as a result of being a war baby in the war-torn country. Then what? Will you let me in? These are all like tough questions. What if I never even heard about you? You know, how would you judge then? Exactly.
Then what? Then what? Your family. That's the end times. Nobody has answers.
This just makes you think, man.
And believe. My name is Dax.
To be continued. I like him, man. I like Dax a lot, because he really gives you something to think about, like thought-provoking songs, you know, songs that'll make you think, yeah, what if this, what if that, you know? It doesn't just keep you in your place like, oh, then the song's over and that's it. It keeps you thinking afterwards, you know? Questions like these, they're not wrong. Humans are naturally curious. You want to see how curious a human being is? Look at the most pure form of a human being. Get a baby and see what they do. They can literally, you can have an empty room with nothing but, I don't know, a table and a chair, and they'll do stuff with that table and that chair. Things you didn't even think about. They'll go under it, they'll go over it, they'll pick it up, they'll try and bite it, they'll do all sorts of stuff. You know, they'll examine it. You know, curiosity at its finest. So we are naturally curious creatures, so it's good to question things and try to figure out answers, even though some answers are beyond our reach. That's why you have philosophy. I hope y'all liked the video. If y'all liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any other suggestions, comment them down below. If you want to sub, you can do that too. Other than that, this Shalom, and I'm out.